discretion is advised.
Some viewers may find this disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Wow. We've arrived. We have. That's awful though, isn't it? Look at the state of that. Look at the state of that. Hang on a minute. Bear with us, folks.
Bit more adjusting to do.
Yeah, I'd say. It's been a while though, isn't it?
Since April.
Yeah. Let me have a look at this, mate. I just don't know. Well, I do know. I think I know. Nothing ever works how you want it sometimes, is it? Oh, that's not right, is it? Oh, that's sort of better. We'll go with that. What do you think? Well, it's no. What about that then, lovely? You're on too high. That's better. You're a bit high, aren't you? Do you want to go a bit lower? Or can't you?
I'm closer to Her Majesty.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, the younger version.
Yeah.
I'm on the older version. Still lovely though.
Bless her.
Still in her prime. Was. Yeah. Line in state she is.
Yes.
Yeah. Do my button up, showing everyone the world. Look. The world. I've got the whole world in my shirt. There you go. There we go. Look at that. We're both looking smart, aren't we?
Yeah. It's a nice matching shirts.
Yeah, I'd say. Yeah, well, anyway, it's been a while. April this year was our last show, and yeah, you could say it's about time we showed our face. No.
Yes, we have been trying to get back on a few months, but it's just taken us longer time than expected.
It has, and you know, a few ups and downs in various parts of our lives, regardless of whose life, but mine and yours included. Busy times, and yeah, I think also so much has happened, hasn't it? And this is why we thought, wasn't it, we'll do a show. Another Ben&Grem Show, September 2022. So we are alive. We're still here. Of course, there is a slight change though in appearance, if you could say. I mean, for you, for example, looking as good as always. Hair to the trim, lovely. Actually, really very well tidied up. Do you get it done professionally, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured. I could see. Whereas I, for example, have lost that hair. However, it is looking.
Growing it back.
It is growing. Yeah, it's what's that word I'm looking for? It's stubbly. But I quite like it though. It's nice. It's comfortable. It's comfortable. I don't know how it's all looking on the screens, guys. Obviously, we can see what we see, and it's a little bit blurry in places. That could be a lot to do with our lighting this evening. The studio hasn't been used for a while. We spent a lot of time running up to this live stream dusting. It's not been used for a while, has it? And
no.
And so we were meant to go on live 8 o'clock this evening, and unfortunately, due to dusting circumstances, we didn't go on till 9-ish, did we?
Amazing how much dusting we got on with.
Yeah. I can't. Well, I mean, some of the dust sheets that we had to lift up didn't really hold back the dust that we were hoping for. So it's been a while, hasn't it? I mean, what we're talking April, May, June, July, August, September, May, June, July. That's 5 months, isn't it? 5 months since we last done a show, which, if I'm honest, all things considered, is unacceptable, isn't it? But,
yes, it is. We should have been able to do at least 2 within that time.
Yeah, we should have done, but like I say, it's life, isn't it? Things happen. Families have a role to play. Work, all sorts of things, So, but long live the Ben&Grem Show. Hey, Grem.
Yes.
And so we're back. That's the most important thing, and we're back. And I would say in very sad circumstances.
Yeah, most definitely. The passing of our Queen. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. It's difficult because like when I first heard, I mean, talking about the line in State Pit and the wonderful people out there that showing their condolences for such a sad time and queuing for virtually 2 days it seemed in hours, 30 hours,
15 hours,
15 hours. And and I think, wow, that's dedication and support for the royals, and it's good, isn't it? But at the beginning I thought that's a long time to wait, but at least they get to see the Queen.
Yeah, it is a long time. I know exactly where you're going with this.
You do.
Yes.
And then someone said to me, no, you're not actually seeing the Queen. You're seeing her lie within the coffin. But you're seeing the coffin and its preparation and
it's draped in the
drapes, which is lovely,
the royal standard,
beautifully. And you've got the crown, haven't you? You're a stronger royal than I am. You know quite a bit about the royal.
Well, I know what I know, but not lots.
But you knew what the crown was, didn't you? You told me. Didn't
Yeah.
you? Yeah. So I thought okay. And then I come up with this idea in my head without really knowing how it's going to pan out. And there's me thinking, right, so they're going to have a big screen, and they're going to have the coffin open, and a screen come down on her, so when people come to the coffin to show their respects, that they can see her on the screen, whilst viewing the coffin. And that's not the case either, is it? Now I understand and appreciate maybe why they couldn't do that. And then I thought to myself, like up to 15 plus hours to see the Queen, to pay your respects. With those two things in mind not apparent or even guaranteed, I give credit to these people.
Because, oh yes, definitely.
But I suppose it's being part of it all, isn't it? And which is the most important thing, isn't it? That's the whole point here. And and I have to say, changing the subject slightly, Graham, I have to say that I admire the likes of David Beckham. Because,
yes.
Did you hear? He had the opportunity, didn't he, to skip the queue, and he decided to do as other people. And that was queue up for his opportunity. Which was great. What do you think? It was really good. It's a sad time though, isn't it? Didn't it come sudden though? It was because...
It did come sudden. 2 days previous, she said goodbye to one Prime Minister and saw in a new Prime Minister.
Yeah.
But in the photographs issued out after that event, you could see the Queen was very weak, and she had a bruised right hand, which could only mean morphine.
Right. Oh, I see. So you think maybe she was struggling up to that point?
Yeah, struggling with her mobility, so with the pain, so they gave her morphine. I mean, that's dedication for you. 96 years of age. No, she obviously knows that the time is ticking, and she keeps doing the job.
Yeah, she didn't give up.
No, she didn't do. I mean, literally 2 days before she passed, she was working flat out.
Yeah, she was.
We owe Her Majesty a lot of thanks and gratitude.
Yeah. The thing is, though, like when they write letters, or the Queen. I assume it was the Queen, or was it Queen's? I call them servants. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
they're like footmen,
handmaidens, and if you can call them those, footmen. We'll go with that. And so when like somebody was of the grand old age of 100, and they'll get a letter from the Queen.
Yes.
Did she write them herself?
She signs them.
She signed, course. Right. Okay. Of course she does. That's amazing. That's quite. So she must have had a fair few over the years.
It's a shame she didn't get one herself.
Yeah, I know. I thought that. You know, 96, she was almost there.
Well, if you go back about a year, she looked reasonably in good health. The colour of her skin, you know, the tone was it's so radiant.
Yeah, she's always full of colour, full of beams, wasn't she? And you know, even up to that point, last time I saw her on television actually, because I mean, I haven't really, for me personally, I mean, this is another thing as to why when we go back to April until present day, so much has happened in our lives, Graham, hasn't it? Vice versa, and I think with that also, I've spent a lot of lesser time watching the screen, watching the box. So I've actually been, if you like, somewhat out of touch with a lot of things going on. I think the last time I saw the Queen live on television was when, now trying to think what it was actually on the occasion it was for, but she was on the balcony with the children. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And she was talking to the children, the little boy, wasn't it? Oh God, I should know his name. Is it Elfie?
Elfie.
What's his name? The little boy.
Well, not George.
George, it might have been George, of course. Did I say Alfie? So you know what I mean? You know what I mean? But yeah, so you know, and that was the last time I saw her live on the screen, and she looked strong, elegant, as usual, you know. But I never come to any thought to believe that she was struggling. Now, whether she was, and yet maybe, I mean, how long ago was that? You know what event I was talking about, right?
It's platinum Jubilee,
wasn't it? Yeah, because there was a big thing about that, obviously.
Yeah.
And she was on the balcony and waving to everybody.
Was she going to come on the balcony?
That's right, yeah.
People weren't sure if that was going to happen. The media wasn't sure. But she did.
But she came on strong.
Yeah, she did.
And yeah.
And she must have been in pain back then.
I think she probably was in pain, maybe. But she was dosed up. Do you think?
Yes, I'm on painkillers, and when it gets too much, morphine's the only other option.
Yeah.
But I think the politicians have got a lot to hold their hands up to here, especially with her passing. If it wasn't for the infighting within the Conservative Party, we wouldn't be having a new Prime Minister. Boris Johnson would still be about. Getting the job, you know, done.
Build back Britain better.
Yeah. But no, she ended up having to put herself through an ordeal.
Yeah. That was maybe unnecessary. I mean, actually, yeah, I agree. There was a lot of infighting within the Conservative Party, wasn't there? And of course, now we've got Liz Truss, who actually I wasn't sure about at first. I thought actually towards the end, I mean recent times, before she was Prime Minister, I actually thought she was good, because I thought, you know, she's coming along the views of Brexit, but I think she wasn't a Brexiteer before, was she? She was on the Remain side, wasn't she? If I remember rightly, but she was converted.
She was.
And now I don't know whether that was a bad thing necessarily, because actually she came to the correct side, if one would be the right way to put it. However, you know, same with Boris, because Boris was a bit for, wasn't he? And then he went to Remain, and then he was quite heavy Remain. But I think one thing I can say, maybe Liz Truss, like similar politicians like her, that sort of, you could say flip-flopped, went from Remain to Leave. One thing you can give them credit for is for their vision, in that they've now come to the conclusion that actually, yes, we did receive Brexit as a vote, and therefore actually we're just going to get on with what we've got in front of us. And that's the maturity of some politicians, isn't it? That actually have said, this is where we are, this is how we're going to do it, and we're going to make better of what situation we have in front of us, and we're going to make the best of it. So credit to Liz Truss, which I think now, maybe it's just about the right time for her, because of all of that, and now she's Prime Minister. And but I wasn't sure about Rishi Sunak from the very beginning. I wasn't sure.
As far as I'm concerned, he stabbed Boris in the back, and done so publicly.
Yeah, I'd say.
So I'm pleased that he didn't get the opportunity to be our Prime Minister.
Yeah. No. Well. Yeah. I thought he was going to actually at first. I thought, you know, but do you know, in my mind, it's a bit of like it was a bit romantic in a way, because I thought, yes, do you know what? We're going to get another Margaret Thatcher in Liz Truss. Do you know what I mean? I was like, yeah, this is brilliant. She's got to become. And I actually thought the country needed a woman in power. For me, I felt it was right, and I thought she's going to get it. It's just right, and I'm not sure if that had any influence, but in my head I thought, well, actually, I think it would be good for the country to have a woman in power. But it didn't go too bad last time we had a woman in power, so I figured, maybe that's what we need.
If you count Theresa May...
Oh, well, so I say last time, I mean the time before that. But having said that, Theresa May, no discredit to her currently, because I will say, since she's not been Prime Minister, I would say actually she's done a fairly good job in behind the scenes, because she's been quite vocal, hasn't she? She's been quite influential, and maybe she's more comfortable now, Theresa May, in where she is in politics, whereas maybe when she was on the front line as Prime Minister, that maybe, I don't know, but she was not really popular, was she? I think when it comes to opinion, particularly with Brexit, and I think we all know, don't we, that along with David Cameron and co, there were, even with the likes of Theresa May, she was very much dragging the heels.
Yes.
And I think she was very much like that when David Cameron was in charge. Them two were like almost hand in hand. And so I felt, when I understood that she was going to become Prime Minister, I gasped. And I think most people did, didn't they? I mean, she did alright in certain areas, but no, I think Liz Truss, going back to where we were, I think she give her some chance.
Yeah, give her some chance, and hopefully she will get an easy run at it.
She's not having any of Keir Starmer though, is she? She's showing herself strong there.
I actually haven't seen the Prime Minister questions since she's been PM.
So you can certainly handle him.
I definitely will have to take a look at next week's.
Yeah.
At all. Let's have a toast to Her Majesty.
Yeah, let's have a toast. Now we've got Matthias. I think that's how you say it, isn't it? Cheers. Have a drink, guys. It is Sunday night.
That wasn't a full bottle.
But you're not at work tomorrow, are you? Because it's bank holiday tomorrow. And do you know what? Actually, I'm quite pleased about that. They've made the Queen's funeral a bank holiday, haven't they?
I don't know if it's going to be every year.
Oh, I thought it was.
I don't know.
I've got a feeling it is. I'll be very surprised it isn't. It should be every year.
Because they can put temporary ones in place, can't they?
Of course they can, yeah. We never had one for Brexit though, did we?
No, they can't do that.
Why is that then? It's a big historic moment.
Because the whole of London are going up in arms.
Oh God, yeah, of course. Come on, Ben. Grem knows himself. We do live in a very wokeism-based society.
Don't we, Josh?
We weren't going to say anything about that. In fact, I never even thought this was ever going to come to the agenda tonight. But actually, I will say that we do, and we have actually accepted that now, haven't we? So you're right. I forgot myself there. Yes, you're right. London would have been in uproar, wouldn't it? But but at the end of the day,
there does need to be a date on the calendar.
It gets dark.
It's got to be.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. It does need to be. I think even if it's every 4 years, they need to do something for her. I think they should every year. It's a big time. It's the Queen, for crying out loud. I think they should have a bank holiday. It shouldn't even be questionable.
Longest reigning British monarch in history.
Yeah, it should be. Tomorrow's date. So what are we now? It should be the 19th of September. Every year should see a remembrance of the Queen. It should be a bank holiday, and it should be, in my mind, it should be a day like Sunday, like that holy day. It should be a day of rest and a day of collaboration and remembrance and solidarity, and that sounds all very good, doesn't it?
Yes.
It sounds all very ethical, but it should be. I think that's where we need to go. I mean, it's not like we don't have enough bank holidays. Don't get me wrong.
You may be right, because King Charles gave the go-ahead and made the announcement that the day of his mother's funeral would be a bank holiday.
Do you want to toast? We didn't toast, did we?
No, we was going to.
We were, and I started talking.
To Her Majesty.
To Her Majesty. The Queen. Still survived, didn't it? I was hoping it did.
Yeah.
So, hello everybody, and welcome to the Ben&Grem Show. It's the 18th of September 2022, our first show since April. Don't ask me the date, because I don't know what it is when we did our show, but it was in April, and not a lot's changed really. We are still who we are. We're still Grem and Ben, and we still talk about current affairs, don't we? And today
Yes.
we're talking about the Queen, and tomorrow is the very sad but important day, the funeral. And I'd imagine a lot of people up and down the country, the 17.4, 18, 19.4 million, I don't know how many we've got in the country now. Actually, I've not checked, but I would say most of which will be watching.
It's nearly 70 million, isn't it? It's about 60.
70.
It's 67 or 68 million, I think.
Oh, we're talking about the world, aren't we? We're talking. Oh, I'm talking the UK. No, actually, you're right. Yeah, we're talking billions, aren't we? We're talking 70 million. Yeah, but I suppose
in
it
the
is
UK.
in the UK. Yeah, 70 million in the UK. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's certainly a lot more than it was back in 2016.
Well, yes.
So
We all know why.
yeah. But the most important thing is we're all in this together. And even if she's not your queen, you can believe she is, because even if you don't agree with the monarch, because you're of an ethnicity or of a country that is or has not been favourable to Britain, or Britain be favourable to them, but you still have to admire, I think, for
her steadfastness.
Yeah, for any country to have a reigning monarch of 70 years is
and she hardly ever put a foot wrong.
yeah, it's no small feat, is it?
No, it's not a job that I would choose to be in. It's not a life.
No, it's not a life. Never go without though. But then, what more could she want? She's got a family. Mind you saying that, I mean,
you're a prisoner in your own home.
Yeah, I must admit, she must have felt like that at times. I mean, it's not like she could have gone down the local pub and just let her hair down, is it? You know?
Well, she could have done, but she would have just been followed by a load of secret police.
Yeah, of course, and it'd be in the paper, wouldn't it? Probably probably too much aggro, wouldn't it? Really. The Queen knocking about down Dover town,
sipping on a gin and tonic.
Yeah, it's not going to work. It's not going to work, is it? Mind you, she'll be able to attract a crowd. Be good for tourism. Dover would have boomed. She should have done that then, maybe. Maybe that's something she should have done. She should have come down to Dover on a night out.
Dover on a night out.
Yeah, get all the rebels out. Actually, it might have made them stand up and behave themselves for a bit, you know? That's what she needed to do. She needed just to turn up, rock up one night at the party bar, or at the Funky Monkey. And obviously everyone would be so embarrassed, and so, you know, all those troublemakers, they'd be like, no, Queen's here. Everybody, sort yourself out. Everyone bowing. You got the nutters of Dover, whoever they are, not speaking of anybody.
A drunk person trying to do a curtsy.
Yeah, they just completely changed. Queen's here, do you know what I mean? Behave yourself, you know. That's what Dover needed, I think. Don't you think? The rebels of Dover, and also other places similar, who, like, for example, you go out and you have to go out with bodyguards because it's too dangerous. Those areas in the country could have done with the Queen for a quick G&T and off to the nightclub.
Yeah.
She could have stayed at any hotel, couldn't she? She could have had bodyguards with her though, it wouldn't have mattered. She could have had...
She probably has gone into a couple of the pubs in Windsor.
Yeah, well, yeah, I suppose, yeah. Yeah, I don't
She
suppose...
must have done.
I think it probably would have been a bit dangerous for her, really, wouldn't it? To have travelled outside London on a night out. You know what I mean?
Well, sometimes it's best doing things off the cuff.
Can you imagine that?
Because, you know, media don't know nothing about it. Therefore no one will know nothing about it.
No. Yeah, and I can't imagine that everyone would be rushing down to Dover for a quick scoop.
Yeah.
No, so actually maybe that would have been ideal for her then. She could have had a whale of a time, can you imagine it?
So by the time the information got out on people's Facebook pages, and before it was
no one would have believed
led to be believed anyway.
No one would have believed it. Would they? They wouldn't have, would they? On
She could have
Facebook,
been,
Queen's in Dover,
you know,
yeah, right.
Singing and dancing and kicking her legs to a good song.
Yeah, bit of karaoke and the, I was going to say flotilla, but that ain't been around for a while, has it?
No.
No. Do you remember that pub?
It was ages ago.
I know it was. Shows how long ago it was I went out. We got an insect on the lens, guys. I don't know.
Yes, I know. I've noticed.
Did it come across on the screen?
I'm watching it.
Yeah, so am I. Okay, it's gone. It's back again. So, you know, it's been an interesting time, hasn't it? 70 years. And they reckon tomorrow, I was talking to my grandmother and she was saying actually today that actually it's going to be one of the biggest days in history. Tomorrow. It's going to be a massive ordeal. the whole Queen's funeral, and
Yeah.
I get it, I get that, I understand why, and I hope it does go down with a bang, because it needs it.
A positive bang.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
2 people have been arrested trying to approach the Queen's coffin.
Today?
No,
Oh,
over the course of it.
Right. Why though? What have they done? Just got too close?
Well, this is it. I'm wondering, are they? Is it being overreacted here, and these people being arrested for just being a bit more inquisitive?
Well, if I'm correct in saying, based on some of the footage I've seen on TV, you can't get too close to the coffin, can you? It's quite set up away from where you are. So, in order to get up there, would have been some achievement, because you've got the guards around the coffin, haven't you?
Yeah.
So I don't think they would have managed to get to the coffin at least. But then, having said that, I suppose anybody attempting to make any fast movements probably would have been stopped quite quickly.
Definitely.
Yeah. Did you not want to go up there? Or did you think about going up there and joining the queue?
I thought about going up there and joining the queue, but it's just the fact that I'd have to be waiting a hell of a long time, and I don't think I could cope with it.
No. Well, not only that, but it's not like Glastonbury, is it? You can't just pitch a tent and just get your head down. You're in a queue. So can you imagine having to stand that long? If you've got health conditions as well, I'm assuming that would stop you. I mean, if you suffer from DVT, is it deep vein thrombosis?
I went up to London when Princess Diana's just prior to her funeral.
Did you? How old were you then? You were a little whippersnapper
I
then.
was about 18.
Wow.
Must have been about 18, 19.
How was that? I bet that was amazing.
Well, I didn't see the funeral, but I went up to lay some flowers down
Oh yeah.
at Buckingham Palace.
How did it feel? I was a baby then.
You were, weren't you?
Basically, yeah.
I'm showing my age now, everybody.
No, it's nice though, isn't it? At least you got the opportunity. I wish I would have done the same. If I'd have known you, Grem, back then, I would have been down there, laying a reef. Not a reef. Yeah, a reef. Yeah, I would have been. Has anybody ever done the tour of the tunnel? It's in France, isn't it? Have you done the tour? What tunnel was it? It was quite sad, wasn't it?
What tunnel? I don't know what you're talking about.
Princess Diana. What are you talking about?
No, I'm on about. I thought you was on about the Channel Tunnel. But why is he bringing up the Channel Tunnel in this conversation?
No.
I've never been to the tunnel in Paris.
Paris, wasn't it? Yeah. Paris, yeah. I remember seeing it on the news. I remember as a child. I remember seeing it on the news. I think was it during the week, because I think it was on the news just before school.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just couldn't believe it.
I was working at Esso Petroleum at the time, and I was on the way to work, and I didn't even realise until I got to work and found out from some colleagues what had happened to Diana.
Yeah. Did you cry? Did you weep? Did you feel weak at the knee?
No, I did actually weep. But over the years, when you've had time to think about it, there was a lot more to that story on Diana's part. Yeah. This wine is really nice.
It's alright. It's a bit. What is it? Rosé?
Yeah, it's a rose.
It's a rose, isn't it? A rosé.
A rosé.
Do you think the Queen drank rosé? At all? She must have had a little snipple, a tipple, didn't she? Must have. Do you think she drank? What do you think she actually did drink? No one ever knows these things, but.
Well, they have wine in the glasses at dinner time.
No, but drink. I mean, like, drink.
She probably did in
have a good old go at it.
Well, no, because she can't. Because a drop at the of the clock, she could be woken up and having to.
Oh, of course.
Perform her queenly duties.
That must be awful to be alive for 96 years and never have a bender. A real bender. You know what I mean?
Well, she's probably had a few parties.
Yeah, but I bet she's not fell asleep on the floor, has she? And I bet she's not really gone out to town and sit down her maiden and I don't know. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I'm not saying the Queen should ever behave like that for a second, but you know what I mean. We've all done it, haven't we? You know what I mean? It wasn't that long ago. I fell asleep in the street, drunk too much. I was alright. I survived, evidently.
I was drunk once, and I've been drunk many times. And I was on the way home.
Cheers.
And I stepped off the curb, but I lost my footing and ended up rolling in the middle of the road.
Right.
And at the same time as this has happened, the phone's ringing, and it's my wife. So I'm having to answer the phone as I'm rolling about in the middle of this road. Oh, what a nightmare!
Was the road shut?
No. But I thought I better answer the call because it's the wife.
So you didn't think about saving your life, it was more a case of, if I don't get this call, I've had it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Wow. Did you make it home though?
I made it home, ended up being sick in the kitchen sink.
Why do you do that? Not you personally, but why is that? I always do that. If I have a bit too much to drink, I always end up making the sink first. I don't know if it's because it's head height. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to go down too low in case you never get back up again. So you always go for the sink first, and then you compose yourself. And if you know you're going to go again, then you go into the toilet. Have you ever done that? That's how I think anyway. I've never gone straight to the toilet. I don't think I've ever made it.
Well, I didn't want to make too much noise at the time, so that's the reason why I went to this kitchen sink.
Right.
Because my wife's mother was staying.
Oh.
It was many years ago.
Yeah.
I think it's about 2008, 2008 it was.
Fairly recently.
Yeah, very recent.
No, it wasn't. That's years ago. How many years ago was that? So what are we now? 2022. That's
a long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago. That's 16 years, 17 years ago.
Yeah.
My God. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, we've had the Queen discussions, and sad as it is, we've had Princess Diana. We touched on Princess Diana as well. I suppose it's because of the whole royal thing, isn't it? You happen to fall upon different things. What do you make about the whole Harry and Meghan thing, though? Because Charles is not impressed, is he? Even with them now.
No, and I think Meghan's got a lot to answer for, and people might say, "Oh, you know, don't have a go at her," but she's only got to open her mouth, hasn't she? And she just says the wrong thing all the time.
Yeah, I know.
Like, for example, it's only recent weeks, I think it was 2 weeks ago, she was making a speech at somewhere in Manchester.
Yeah.
And within that speech, I may need correcting on this, but she mentioned herself 23 times.
That's just
excessive.
That is self-glamification, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't know. It's like, you know, it's not like she needed publicity, is it? I mean, because she's somebody who works within, or did work, or probably still does actually. I don't really know. I don't really follow her that much, but used to work in film and what have you. It's not like she needed that extra street cred, is it?
No, she wants to be the centre of attention. This is her problem. She's always wanted to be the centre of attention, and she's not getting it.
And so she misbehaves.
Yeah. So
It's
she.
Like a child, isn't it? It's like.
Yeah, you misbehave to actually get the attention that you need, because you know you'll get what you want.
Because people want to silence you, so in order to do so.
But nobody can top the Queen.
No.
Nobody can top the. I forgot what I was going to.
What she needs is her mum needs to sit her down and have a word with her. Her mum needs to sit her down and say, "Right then, listen to me."
No one can control her.
No.
I just hope Harry wakes up, and I hope that his nan's passing has made him wake up a bit.
Well, I don't know.
And even I'm hoping that maybe the same on Meghan, that she will lighten up, because she's caused
she's very rigid.
the royal family nothing but hassle.
She's very rigid.
I mean, accusing
she needs a good
a member of the royal family of being racist.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
They're crying out loud.
How can you get what's the word I'm looking for? Repatriation after something like that? It's ludicrous.
I don't have time for her at all.
No, I'd say I would have time for her, but I didn't know her anyway. But when I first heard of her, and I thought, I don't get it, Harry, because if you look at some of the old clips of Harry and the Queen, they were very close, and even up to fairly recent times, until of course I think Meghan came on the scene and caused that rift. And it's quite frustrating, I'll really be honest. You know what I mean?
I think Meghan married into the firm and not realising, even though she'd been told that her life would never be the same again. So after she gets her title and everything, she does a few months' work at it, and then kicks off. And then the next thing we know, in the blowing of the wind, they've all legged it to Canada, and then on to America.
Yeah. It's amazing how much influence a woman can have, though, isn't it? When you think about it. But I thought Harry was stronger than that.
No.
A military man, a man of true faith and devotion. And
I still don't. I'll be surprised if that relationship lasts. I really, really do. I don't hold up much hope for it, and frankly, I'd rather it anyway.
But people always say, now I don't know whether it's just the people that are very pro Meghan Markle that come out with this, but do they not say, but actually Harry wanted out of the royal life as well? So it's almost like they're trying to pass the back a little bit to say, well, actually it was a joint decision. So I don't buy that.
I don't buy that at all.
I don't know either.
No.
I just think that's their reasoning for trying to accept. It's like no. Harry didn't want to come out.
They wanted all the fame and the fortune from being royal, but they didn't want to do anything.
No.
They didn't want to do...
Well, Harry did, didn't he? That's the thing, he did. Until she came along. Oh, he had a bit of a blip, didn't he? Because he smoked marijuana, didn't he? But
that was
years. That was way before Harry.
And he wore the Nazi uniform.
Yeah, at a party, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, he's just living his life. He's just whatever. But yeah, but that's what I mean. It's like he let his hair down, didn't he? But he did seem like that. It did seem like, well, maybe that's what he wanted. Maybe that's what he wanted. Maybe he did want to be part of the royals, but he maybe found it tough because he wanted to live that little crazy lifestyle, and he realised maybe you can get away with it. And maybe meeting her was his way of getting what he maybe realised he wanted. But
it was
what he probably didn't want was the aggro.
No, this aggro and everything. No, he was introduced to Meghan by a friend. Well, thank you, friend. The last years of Her Majesty's life were torment for her.
Well, she had to put up with a lot, didn't she? And the media, the circus around it all.
She had to, as you said, she had to put up with an awful lot going on, and then having to deal with a child throwing a dolly out of a pram.
Which is essentially what she was doing.
Or didn't want that dolly anymore because she wants the next new best thing.
Yeah. I want him all to myself. No, Harry. Actually, I saw bits and pieces over the course of time where you could see that she was influencing him more than just in many ways, but in where he would be doing, like, I don't know, an interview, or he'd be doing something, and then she would almost...
It's all her.
Yeah.
It's literally all her. They're both in an interview together, and it is her that does all the talking.
Because he's afraid to open his mouth in case she won't approve of it or something, you know what I mean? It's madness. If anybody ever gets like that, it's game over, isn't it? If any woman, let's be honest, if any woman or man in a relationship ever had that much control, it's game over. You know what I mean? That's like you and I being silenced. That's like somebody saying, Ben and Grem, that's it now. You can no longer ever go in front of a camera and do the Ben and Grem show ever again. Could you do that?
That would be torment.
Well, but do you know what I mean? It's almost like you're being silenced. You can't. It doesn't matter how much you care about that individual. You can't be silenced, can you? I don't know really. It's very odd. Yeah, very odd. However, unless somebody says, well, if you don't silence yourself, we will silence you without others knowing about it, then that's a different story, isn't it? Because you're...
Yeah, I don't think we've got any concerns there to be worried about.
No, but I think if you put it in that context, and nobody knew that behind the scenes, then I suppose people might think you're weak because you just bowed down. But actually, if they knew the truth, because your head was going to get chopped off, then actually, oh right, okay, that's maybe you're not so weak after all. We didn't understand. But it's not like she's saying to Harry, I'm going to have your head off if you don't do as I tell you. She might say that, but she doesn't mean it. Even if you thought she did. You know what I mean? You see my point?
Yeah, I see your point.
So it's not like somebody's holding his life to ransom. I mean, if they were, again, that changes the subject completely, doesn't it? But she's not holding him to ransom. But then maybe he's too embarrassed to tell her to excuse my language, bog off. He's afraid to tell her to bog off because the repercussions of an embarrassment or an argument.
Well, this is why he needs to get his house in order. He's got to sort her out.
He needs to trade her in, doesn't he? Really?
Well, not necessarily. I can give her a benefit of the doubt. You know, I'm willing to give her a chance if she is willing to earn that respect from me and other people.
She just needs to do as they're told. I'm joking. She doesn't. I'm not like that. It's just no. She doesn't need to do as they're told. She just needs to.
She needs to see a psychiatrist. That's what she needs to see.
I think she does need some help. I'm not sure exactly.
She needs in-depth help. She needs it desperately.
Yeah. I mean, it's not every day you can wake up one morning and end up being married to a prince.
In a speech at an event in Manchester, mentioning yourself 23 times, there's definitely something not going on right up there.
Yeah, bless her.
I wouldn't say that.
I wonder if she ever got what she wanted when she was a child. I bet her mum spoilt her rotten. She does come across a bit like that, doesn't she? Like, what she wants, she gets.
I think her dad spoilt her.
Yeah, you can tell, can't you? Hey, yeah, I bet. I wonder if she held him to ransom. I bet. Said, Harry, you're going to be with me. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. I'm telling you now. He'd probably quaked. It's like a dictatorship, isn't it? It's like, where are we going with this?
No, I'm just thinking the same.
Yeah, it is. It's like power. It's like a controlling narcissism, but to a point where it's almost dangerous. I mean, for the likes of a prince to be...
She's a narcissist. That's it.
That's what she is. It's a sad reality, but she's a wokist narcissist. Wokist.
Shocking. Well, it's not shocking at all, really.
Do the wokey cokey. I love it. Yeah. Well, it has been an eventful time this last few months. Obviously, we had the Queen passing. We've had no Ben&Grem shows. To some delight to some, but not so much to others. We've got to touch on something else though as well, because there's got to be something else we've missed. I mean, it's been months, Graham. Nearly 6 months.
Well, I've been busy with my life. I've been on my best behaviour.
Yeah.
I've been keeping myself actually busy whilst being busy with my life. Holding down two jobs.
How's that going?
Full-time and a part-time. They're going quite well. And I get to go out on my walk still with Susie the dog.
Susie, love her. Yeah.
So it's just a normal day-to-day activities I get on with. How about you, Ben?
Yeah, same, really.
Well, you've done quite a bit.
Yeah.
In your garden.
Done a few bits in the garden. Yeah. Got fish. Got some ducks. What else have we done?
Have they laid yet?
No, duck laying yet. But apparently duck eggs are supposed to be very protein based and very tasty.
What do they taste like?
I've never had one. I'm waiting for the day we find an egg. I'm even upping its food quality as well, just to think maybe that will push it on to getting. But no, nothing yet. But as soon as I do, I will let you know, because unless you've had one before, have you?
No, I've never had a duck egg before.
Duck and goose eggs are supposed to be delicious. They're supposed to be a lot more tastier than your normal standard chicken egg, apparently. So I do look forward to the day when that day comes. I think they're a bit bigger as well, duck eggs. Yeah, I think they're a bit bigger. But you know, been busy. Yeah, all sorts have happened. Got a new car.
Yes, I still haven't seen it yet.
No, you haven't, have you? Have you not?
No.
Oh. It's a what is it? It's a Vauxhall Zafira Tourer, 7-seater. It's one of those Euro 6 cars, so it's economical and low emission, safe, and all the rest of it, all that malarkey. Yeah, it's all right as cars go. It's suitable. It's all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've had a really good time. I hope you've all had a good, safe 3-4 months. It's been a while since we've done the last show, and we're here again today. It's never been better, is it? It's good to be back.
It is good to be back.
Yeah, it is. And it hasn't been a whole lot of news, really, when you think about it. There's been bits and pieces come up, individual bits and pieces, but it's pretty much standard. We've covered a lot of it already, haven't we? We've covered the Queen. We've covered like the change of parliamentary system structure. You know, with the Prime Minister. You know, we fortunately not had to speak of anything Brexit, because at the end of the day, what's done is done, and that seems to be done now, isn't it? I mean, obviously it's never done, but it's done as far as the public are concerned. Things are getting on with for now.
And nothing much bad has happened from it anyway.
No, nothing at all. No, not at all. Cheers. Nothing at all. We'll drink to that, actually. Yeah. Do you get a drink?
I'll have another sip.
Cheers.
And I said this last time, that glasses, I love these glasses. Nice big glass.
Is that the ones we were using last time, was it?
Yeah, these ones.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't think they're crystal, are they?
No, Ben. I wouldn't expect them to be crystal.
Well, we should be on a day like today.
Well, yes. But you haven't got any crystal glasses, have you?
I don't know. Probably not.
I've got some crystal glasses at home.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Whiskey content. Oh, they're really nice. Really nice glasses.
I must admit, saying that, I know somebody who's got one of the Queen's glasses, one of the dining glasses, and
Diamond Jubilee.
Yeah. And it's breathtaking. It really made that ding sound, you know, like that ding sound.
Ping.
Yeah. That went on for a while, didn't it? You sure that's not crystal?
It's glass.
Hello. There's no hum, is there? So, yeah, that's definitely glass. Got more hum in a glass window. Yeah, that's a nice glass for a glass.
It is.
It's about a quarter of a bottle in there, isn't it? Not now, but when you fill it up.
I haven't drunk a quarter of a bottle, everybody.
No, he hasn't. Not yet. But it's been interesting though, and we had some nice weather as well. Weather's been good. Had a nice summer.
Do you know, this is the best summer
Yeah, we've had.
I think we've had in a hell of a long time, since I was a teenager and at school.
Yeah. What, the summer?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had
guaranteed throughout the whole of July and August to have no rain or hardly any at all.
And we got high band still.
Yeah.
Still on.
Yes, it will be. It will still be on. We need like loads and loads of rain, but it needs to rain in the correct places where the reservoirs are.
Yeah. I said this before, I'm sure I did, and I said it on Facebook actually. I often say things like this on Facebook, but why don't we use the sea? There's so much water. The world's made up of 70% water. How can there be a water shortage?
It's salt water, isn't it?
Yeah, but we pay money for the system for the water to be treated.
But I think the only way of
It can be done.
I think it's by boiling.
So can't they just boil it en masse?
This conversation's going nowhere.
Is it not? I mean, I don't know.
I don't think it's as simple as that.
Is it not?
No.
But you can't drink rainwater, can you?
Well, yes, you can.
Can you? But it's got to be treated though. If you drink rainwater, you get bellyache.
Well, I've never got bellyache from drinking rainwater.
Have you drunk rainwater before? What's it taste like? Fresh.
Yeah.
Oh, alright. I might try that.
It's dripping off your face down into your mouth.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Heavy rain. When it's really heavy.
It's like the floor starts smelling, doesn't it? Like that sweaty floor smell. Do you know what I'm on about? When it's raining. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you haven't had rain for a while and it dampens the air and the floor, and you get that rain smell. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really nice. I've never forgotten that sound. It's like sugar puffs. But you know, remember when you were a kid, sugar puffs taste one taste, but nowadays they don't taste the same as they did when you were a child. Is it because our taste buds change as we get older?
No, they've changed the recipe basically.
Is that what it is? But that's not just the same for the. I'm not just sugar puffs. Not just picking on the honey monster here, but I'm also referring to cereals in general. I remember Nesquik used to taste different. Wheatos was my favourite. Wheatos, when I was a kid, were fantastic. I don't know what happened to them.
And even Roundtree's chocolate has changed flavour.
Why are they changing it? We have to pay. I don't agree with it, mate. They shouldn't be changing it. Why did they? Do you know what I mean? Did you have Wheatos as a child? How nice were they?
No, I wasn't too keen on them.
Well, yeah, I used to love them, Wheatos. But they don't taste the same anymore. Now I don't know whether it's because the milk's different or whether it's actual flavouring of the Wheatos are different. But they don't taste like they did when I was a kid. Even Lucky Charms. Do you remember Lucky Charms? Even they don't taste the same anymore.
No, I never ate that stuff because it's just full of like.
Yeah, I know it was.
It's full of like so much sugar.
Oh,
it's,
yeah.
It's not healthy.
No, it's not. No, it wasn't. But I used to love them. What else? What else can we talk about? We're talking about food here, aren't we? How do we get on to food? Cheers.
Well, we was talking about wine.
Grapes. I want to get an olive tree for the garden. I want to grow my own
But
olive.
you're all concrete.
Yeah, but I've got some grassy bits.
Foundations. It depends how the tree's roots grow.
How does your garden grow? What's the next line?
Olive tree.
Yeah. I want to get an olive tree. Or even, I don't know, just want to, or a cherry tree. You can't buy a cherry tree anywhere.
There's certain cherry trees that you can't have near your house anyway.
What's that?
Because of the roots, the way the roots grow.
Oh, really?
Damage the foundations.
Huh.
Yeah, I can't remember what cherry tree it is.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are they that powerful then, these roots?
Well, yeah, because when the tree grows and gets to maturity, it can damage foundations.
Oh.
Yeah. I would like a cherry tree.
You would? Yeah, it'd be amazing. You can't buy them though, can you?
You can. So I bought one from. I think I got my cherry tree from Aldi's.
Wasn't Amazon?
No, it's Aldi's.
You can buy anything on there, can't you? It's amazing, isn't it? You want anything, however ridiculous it is, you can get on Amazon. It's great. I think I looked for something really random. What was it I looked for? I can't even remember now. Something really, really odd. And that you can buy it. Oh, Amazon. Cherry tree. You can find a cherry tree though and just take a cut in.
It will take ages, Ben, to grow. You have to get the special root treating stuff, don't you?
Yeah, good point.
My spider plant is coming along well in my kitchen.
Is that the ones that closed up, like the Venus flytrap?
No.
Oh, right. Succulent. They're called succulents.
No.
You know what I'm on about though, don't you?
Yes.
They're nice then. I used to have a few succulents. They're like dainty, aren't they? Dainty little fashionable plants.
It's amazing how they can sense an insect.
Yeah, I know. Isn't it? What I like though, I've got into me gardening. say gardening. I mean, that ask me a question about gardening, I won't be able to tell you. But I tell you, I don't mind getting my hands dirty. I like the good old shrub. The greener the shrub, the happier I am, because you can always tell from the colour of the leaf just how well you're doing. You know what I mean? What I do notice, if you have a lot of rain, they would always be nice and green and luscious. I mean, take your garden for example, right? My garden was crispy. It was like a you know those things that you flip in a frying pan. It was like a pancake.
Pancake.
Yeah, they looked like a colour of a pancake. And now it's green and luxurious, and that's all because of the rain. But even if you haven't had rain, and we hadn't, and I didn't use a hose pipe because you weren't allowed, but I did use a tap indoors, and I was watering the plants, right? And my plants were loving it. They were green, luscious. The leaves were green, dark green, and I thought, yeah, you know, it made me feel good. And then they flowered. So don't always be defeated. There's always a way around everything, isn't there? That's what I always say. You know, it's a hose pipe pan. I read up on it actually. I wanted to know what the
where there's a will, there is a way.
Yeah. Don't use your hose pipe. Just take it off and use the tap. Listen, there's a hose pipe ban, not water ban.
Yes, but I think that means
I know.
water.
Yeah, I know. I didn't do that, by the way. But I did use the water from indoors. I just filled a jerry can up. Jerry can? Watering can.
Jerry can.
Yeah, just put a jerry can up. Well, but I had to water my plants. I paid good money for them. You know what I mean? Anyway, I mean, I don't really use that much water anyway. And anyway, my issue was always like this. I mean, we paid for the water. Anyway, what we use, we pay for.
Yes, but there's insufficient because of the rainfall. It's not been great. So you have to be careful, Ben, with the resource.
Yeah, there is that. That's why you need a water butt, isn't it? Good old
I've
water
got a
butt.
190 litre one that's full up.
Yeah.
You can have some water from that if you like.
Well, no, it stinks. That's the only problem with a water butt. You have a water butt in your garden, the water starts stinking. Unless it's a proper water butt, maybe not. But if you've got a bin like me with the lid off, it don't work. It stinks. You got to have it enclosed.
Why don't you buy one from the council?
Oh, I thought about it. I have thought about
They deliver it for you as well.
Do they? How much is it then? I need a new bin.
I can't remember how much I paid now, but I went for the 190 litre one.
In fact, there's a family of 7 in our house, right? We've only got 2 bins. It's not enough. Black bins, 2 black bins. I need another 2. I need 4. You know what I mean? But I will give
What
credit.
are you feeding?
Well, just, you know what I mean? I don't know, it's just rubbish, isn't it? You just get so much rubbish. But I will say that actually I'll give credit to the council because they do, and thank you, and I do mean this from the bottom of my heart, it means a lot to me. Simple things, but it means a lot to me. They do take the bins, and or should I say the bin bags, because you can only put so much in 2 bins.
Yeah.
So we do make it nice and tidy, and we do have our thoughts on the seagull situation. We are aware of that. We're not messy. We try to be as tidy and clean as we can be. But but I give credit to the council because they will take them, and I'm really grateful for that. And I will come to the day where I will get an extra 2 bins, and we will have 4 bins. But in the meantime, thank you very much, because it is hard work having 7 people in a house. 2 bins ain't going to cut it. I've got two black bins and a blue bin. Ain't enough.
No, it isn't.
You know what I mean?
But the black bins aren't big enough.
But it's like 70 odd quid in it for a black bin. 70 odd quid.
You just have to acquire one from somewhere.
I know, because everyone writes their numbers on it. You can't nick them nowadays, and I wouldn't do that anyway. I wouldn't. Do you know what I mean? Everyone writes their numbers on it, and I do, because I just don't want mine nicked. I had mine nicked once. I couldn't believe it. I was disgusted. How low can one go to nick a bin? I mean, I don't know. We all need a bin. We need a bin.
We've gone on.
We have, yeah. We got.
But we're still here, everybody.
Yeah, we have gone off.
That might be an omen.
An omen.
An omen. How long have we been live?
I don't know. Been a while, guys. I'll have to edit it out, guys. When you watch this back live, not live, but when you watch this back, whenever it will be, you'll have to. I have to watch this back to know what's going on there. What was I saying? Right, and action. Yeah.
We're back.
We're back. Yeah, sorry about that, folks. Technical issue with the camera. Yes, I will. Yeah, why not? Yeah. The camera just went into sleep mode. We pulled it that much, the camera turned off. But that you won't see that because when you watch this back another day, this will all be edited out. By the way, so don't worry. You saw it because you were here first, but if you're not live, it won't matter. You won't see it anyway. So, cheers, man.
I don't think we've got much to worry about that anyway.
No. Oh, hang on.
Oh, my head.
Yeah, it's all a bit wonky, isn't it? Yeah. How's that? Bit better?
I'm ducking now.
Oh.
Oh, come down a bit.
The Queen. I think I must have moved it. There you go. That's better, isn't it? So what have you been up to then? Otherwise, all the things you've already told me.
Well, I mentioned that earlier on.
No, you did. I
don't want to have to say it again. Gosh.
Oh. Yeah, it has been a while though, isn't it? It has been a while.
It's been too long.
It's... How long was a piece of string?
Exactly.
I love that saying. You know when someone says, at the end of the day, and then they go, it gets dark.
Oh God.
I love that.
Really?
Yeah. I said that to someone once.
That's ridiculous.
I was in a conversation with someone and they said, at the end of the day, and I went, it gets dark. They just didn't even get it. They didn't get it. They rode straight over it and carried on talking. And I was cracking up. Don't do that though, because honestly, because then you look a plonker. Because you're the one laughing and they just carry on talking. It's like they must think you're like losing the plot. So the joke was on me.
Was that at work?
I can't remember. I can't remember what it was. I saw actually talking of like funny. Hang on. I think it's about time we did something here. Hang on.
Pointless news.
Dun-dun. Yeah. So it was coming up to it, wasn't it? So so I was at the King's Hospital in London, and I was in the main foyer, and then so there was this guy who was doing some work in the corner over by the wall. He was doing some wiring, and then there was a couple. Well, I don't know if they're a couple. They probably weren't a couple, but they were a couple as people go, right? And they were over the side here, just to the left, and they were doing handing out leaflets. It was some sort of charity, and I didn't really pay attention to what it was as such. Although what I did know was that they were one was I say Muslim. I might be wrong, but one had one of those scarves, head coverings. Is it Muslim?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other guy, anyway. So I walked straight towards the woman, and Shell was in the she was in the cafe. She was getting some coffee because she said, "Oh, we'll get a coffee now, and we'll get something for Ava, our daughter." So I was like, "Okay." So and this guy was shouting at the floor, and I looked and I thought, and I started. You know when like you see a situation occur, and you go a bit silly. I made a bit of a joke of it. I could see myself. I was feeling a bit. I was getting a bit giggly, and I went over to the woman and I went, "Is he shouting at the floor? He's shouting at the floor." And she looked over and she looked at me as if to say, "Are you for real?" But she didn't say anything. She looked back at, "Yeah." She went, No. She said, I think there's somebody under us. Yeah, I know. And then she giggled to herself, and then I carried on. I thought I'd better go because I'm embarrassed myself now. But I walked away. But it was a moment. It was a moment, and it was a funny moment. I just felt I had to utilise it. The guy he wasn't just shouting. He was bellowing at the floor. He had his head low down to the floor, and he was shouting down where the wires were, where the holes were, where the wires were going down. So there must have been somebody underneath adjusting the wiring. And he was going, stop, stop. And I was like, this is a moment. I needed to make a moment of it. He didn't hear me, obviously, but I went over to this woman and I said what I said. And I told Misha about it afterwards, and she said, oh, what are you like? But I actually, but I had to do it. I felt as if it was a moment. But she thought it was funny, so it cheered her up. I mean, she was standing there just handing out these leaflets. She looked as bored as anything. And then that was it was a moment in time, wasn't it? It's a moment that you don't necessarily expect. But you don't get that in life, do you? People are so serious now. Do you know what I mean?
I can be too serious.
I mean, yeah, I get it. I can be. But that's the problem, isn't it? Everyone's too serious. Everyone's important now. You know, there's no... What's the word I'm looking for? There's no... humanity, not humanity. There's no like what am I saying? There's no like what's that word that people use? Do you know what I mean?
I don't know. I'm not inside your head.
No. There's no humour. That's what I'm thinking about. Humour. There's no humour anymore. No one's humorous anymore, are they? In fear of upsetting, I suppose. People are afraid of letting their hair down. You know what I mean?
Well, you can't say certain things anyway.
Nah. I remember saying something. I used a term once in conversation with somebody, and I said it to the wrong person, but only because I later realised of what they do as an interest. But it never occurred to me at the time when saying what I said that I thought it could have caused offence. I said, oh, it's like flogging a dead horse, isn't it? She rides horses. Never thought about it. She went, excuse me? It's just a terminology, it's a figure of speech. And I realised what I'd done straight away. Oh, sorry. She went, that's alright, I'm only joking. But I wasn't sure she was. But then I realised, and I felt really silly afterwards for saying it. And it's like, so sometimes you say these words because it's considered a figure of speech with no harm intended, and you can really offend people. You know, there's another saying, isn't it? It's... Is it gun ho? No, what's that saying? It offends Chinese people, doesn't it? Oh, what am I saying? But you can't say it because, again, nowadays you have to be careful.
Oh, I don't know.
I can't remember what it is either. But you know, but you have to be careful. You have to be careful because any conversation can upset someone. Even if, like now, for example, we're having this conversation, and there could be someone in the world watching this, spitting feathers because of maybe some of the rhetoric we're using. Although it's clean and ethical, it's not for everyone, is it? Some people can take offence by conversation. It doesn't even have to be about anything in particular. It just means that they might not like the way you were putting something across, so they're offended by it.
Bless.
You know what I mean? What's that thing called nowadays that they talk about, which is something on social media where if you take something when you go back and it was of something like Kit Kat, and then like nowadays Kit Kat was different to what it is then. You know, like I said about flavourings and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So like they call it something, don't they? It's something effect or whatever. Where something about Mandela effect, is it? Is it Mandela effect? Where like, so for example, Kit Kat, back in the day when Kit Kat was known when we were younger, it used to be Kit with a hyphen and then Kat. And nowadays there is no hyphen, but then people say, no, but it was always like that, but it wasn't. You know what I mean? So there's certain things in life that we saw as when we were when we were children, to like now, we look at it as adults and it doesn't look the same as it used to.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like playing with your mind. It's like they say, oh no, but it used to remember this. It used to be like this, but now it's like this, and it would be two different pictures, and you think that was never like that. You know what I mean? That's the thing now, isn't it? Social media, all about that. But there was one about Kit Kat. I remember seeing. They said, oh, Kit Kat is spelt slightly differently, and because back in the day, you used to have a little hyphen, like a little wiggle. You know, is that hyphen? Yeah, like a little wiggly line. And then nowadays, you don't have that. And I'm like, I don't remember. I don't even. It's immaterial, isn't it? But it's all things that people considered had not have noticed. And I'm like, no, I'm not sure about that. You know what I mean? But it's a thing. It's a cult. It's almost like everyone's saying, oh, the Mandela effect. I think it's the Mandela effect. I don't know why they call it that. It might not be that. And if it isn't that, correct me, guys. But it's something like that, you know?
Yeah.
Have you heard about it?
Not only from you.
Oh, right. Did you also know as well? And I didn't know this until recently, but I was talking to a very good friend of mine who you also know, and her daughter and partner I visited recently, and he. His name's Callum. He's very into like space and stuff like that. He's very into like life in space and really interesting stuff. Do you know what I mean? Attenborough and all that sort of thing. Which is so I was well in there then. I was like, oh yeah, this is a good conversation. This because most people nowadays they're so not bland, but like they don't care for things as much as maybe we do, or where certain people in life do. Do you know what I mean? Like space, no one cares, do they? But actually, you can get into a conversation with someone who enjoys a little bit about space, and you can have a real good conversation about it. Anyway, cut a long story short, he was talking about we were talking about like looking up at the stars. He was saying about looking up at stars and stuff, and do you see this, that, and that, and blah blah blah. And you're like, oh yeah, I do, yeah. And there was this thing we were talking about like shooting stars, right? And it's not quite like a shooting star. It's not fast like a shooting star. It's not as slow as a plane. It's about in between. It's a little bit kind of too fast to be a plane, too slow to be an asteroid or meteoroid, which one it is, asteroid. And it's apparently something that Elon Musk was involved with, and you might be able to help me with this. But he sent up. It's all to do with Ukraine and the humanitarian aid towards the internet, and he set up internet into satellites where they fly across the sky. I can't remember Starline. I think they're called Starlink or Starline.
I think I know the one.
Do you know what I'm about? Do you know what I'm about? And they fly across the sky, and I think he set up several. And over time, you can actually get an app on your phone, Android or even on iOS. You can get it, whereas it can tell you when they're due to come across, and you can actually detect, look up at the sky, and see them go past. And it's actually internet which we as people can have. It's not just about Ukraine. Ukraine are using it and utilising it because obviously it's for them and helping them in their aid to combat the Russians and all that shit. But you can actually pay for this internet. I don't know how good it is. I don't know anybody myself that has used it or knows anything about it, but you can actually create an account and pay for it. But it's internet that's in the sky. It's amazing. And I didn't know anything about this until the other day when this Callum was telling me, and I was like, wow. And I said, I think I remember seeing it going across. And it was, like I said, it's not as slow as a plane, and it's not as fast as a shooting star. It's a little bit in between. And it's you notice it when you see it. You see it, and it does make you think that's different. And it goes across, but they don't go across by one at a time. They go across as a few at a time, and they come across at certain times as well. Yeah. Obviously, they're circling the globe, aren't they? So certain times you won't see them, but other times you will. So it's like the ISS. It comes across at certain times. And that's another thing that's interesting. And you can get apps on that. It shows you when it's due to come past, and you can actually see it if it's in the right location. You can see it. It's stuff like that. It's really good to meet somebody in it that has an interest in something that you do, which actually at the time you thought maybe you're the only person you seem to ever be talking or being interested about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like knitting. Knitting isn't for everybody, but when you do it and you find somebody else that also does it, it's quite good. It doesn't matter who that person is or what. It's just nice, isn't it, to see that somebody has an interest in something as you do.
It's a hobby.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Most people don't care about space. You look up the stars. The stars are bright tonight. That's it. Some people are like, yeah, and they get a telescope out. Some people are like, oh yeah, that star's that star's that star, and it's interesting. And I've always liked a bit of space and this and that. They actually say, talking about space, they actually say that they do believe there's life on Mars and people actually do live there. Thousands of people actually already live there. I'm not quite sure about that. I don't believe that myself because there's no atmosphere. But how do I know? What would I know?
It might be underground.
Could be underground, or it could be in those things you see in like those futuristic programs where it's like big domes, isn't it? That you live in a dome. It's like you live in a capsule. I mean, I don't think we're quite that advanced yet, are we? We've got there, haven't we? But I think, don't they say it takes about 40 odd years to get to the moon? Get to Mars. So that's 80 years of a person's life. So it's not likely that you're going to get up there and start living your life, is it?
It's a long way, isn't it?
It's a long way. 40 years to get there, 40 years to get back. 80 years.
You wouldn't live it.
No, you wouldn't. So is it worth it? I can't see how they can say that we're starting a colony on Mars when it takes 40 years to get there.
Yeah, but it'd only be of dead bodies.
Oh yeah, it'd be a very old life up there, wouldn't it? Very old. I don't think. Yeah, I mean, it's not workable, is it? It's too far away. If it was closer, even if you said it was 20 years away.
Technology needs to be better to do with the speed of the craft.
Precisely that. They need to improve that. They need to half that.
Because they haven't got warp speed, have they? As you know.
They haven't got warp speed. Light speed, not warp speed.
They haven't got light speed.
No, we haven't got light speed. I'm thinking of the jumbo jet or
Yeah.
the Concorde. That used to break the sound barrier, isn't it?
Speed of sound.
Well, I mean, do you know, I always look back and think, isn't it a shame that that never continued? How quick could that move? That thing was amazing, wasn't it?
I know, and it's only because of a couple of incidents that they pulled the whole thing.
Why did they? Couldn't it get to like USA? Couldn't it get to like America in like what 4 hours or something stupid?
No, it's about 6 or 8 hours.
6 hours, but even still that's not cheap. Well, it's 8 hours now, isn't it? It's about 8.5 hours now.
So it must be about 4 hours then. You
Yeah,
must be
have
right.
it.
Yeah.
About 4 hours to get to. I mean, that's amazing, isn't it? I mean, just think you could get to Spain in an hour on a Concorde.
Well, less than that.
Yeah, it would be less than that because it's about 2 hours now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. So maybe half hour to get to Spain. I mean, you'd literally take off and come back down again. I wonder if they ever tried that because it never went on for that long, did it? It was only ever really for the rich and famous, wasn't it? Really, or the very well off, because it cost a fortune, didn't it?
Lovely, lovely, lovely crafts though.
Hmm. How many did they have? There weren't many, surely. Must have been a few, but not many. There you go, guys. How long did the Concorde run? How long of service did the Concorde run? I don't think it was long, was it? A few years?
I should know this.
It's like the hover speed. You know, that was... I mean, that still runs, but not here. But that does still run in the world. I mean, they still have hovercraft, don't they? Hover speed? I mean, hovercraft.
Hover speed was a really quick way to get to France. About 35 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah. They done away with that, didn't they?
Yeah, I just don't understand
No,
why.
I don't.
They brought in those catamaran things.
Well, it was like propellers, wasn't it? It used to be on a big, like... It was almost like a big rubber ring, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It just blew up, and then it just... there's a... I remember seeing it when I was a kid. But that was gone before it came. It was ridiculous. I don't know. I bet you that's economical.
I've been on one of those to France. Very quick.
Oh, did you? Was it quick?
Hmm.
Was it bumpy though? Because they used to say it
No,
was quite...
no. We must have went on a nice day. I was only
Why
young
they
at the
got rid of
time.
it? They still have a sea cat.
No, that's the catamarans.
What's a sea cat then?
Same thing.
Same thing. What happened to them?
They just died out.
I remember as a kid, I remember being at the Warren in Folkestone, the beach, and the family was saying, "Get in out of the water, get in out of the water," because as we knew it, or as I knew it at the time, a sea cat was coming across past the breakwater, and then all of a sudden this massive, a ginormous wave would be created from this, and I used to think it was amazing. I used to love it. We all did as kids. We were like, "Oh wow," you know, we loved it. Sea cats come in, and we wanted to be in the water because it was so fun. But yeah, it just stopped. Why?
I don't know either.
Don't get it. All these great things just disappear.
The hovercrafts were got rid of because of the sea cats coming into operation, and then they went.
Now what have we got? P&O.
That we'll never use again after what they've done to their staff.
No.
DFS is going to have to be. Do you want to do a France trip at one time?
DFS. That's a
DFS. Have I said it wrong? What are they called?
I was going to say that's upholstery, isn't it?
What's the name of the ferry company?
DFDS.
That's it.
DFDS. Yeah. Well, DFS. That's upholstery.
Yes, upholstery. Oh, God,
Maybe
so
they got.
stupid.
Maybe they've got a deal with DFDS. DFS.
No.
You never know.
No.
I don't know. It sounds good, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You probably. Well. DFDS. Are they faster than P&O?
No, the same.
Same.
Still a 90-minute sailing.
Or is it?
And the food's probably cheaper on there as well.
Are they?
But I said last time we done a live that I'd never sail with P&O again. I would
No,
never.
I remember you said
Never
that.
ever sail with them ever again.
There is actually one ferry that I would love to. There's one place I really want to go, and apparently every time I say it, people are like, "Oh, I don't know, don't waste your time there." But I've always been interested in islands. I know we live on an island, but I've always been interested in islands. So I went to Iceland, didn't I? And I loved it, absolutely loved it. And I loved the idea of being on an island. And so I want to do other islands, right? So I want to do Isle of Man maybe, but I also want to do Isle of Wight. And the Isle of Wight is one place I've always wanted to go to. And I went to the New Forest one time, years and years ago. And I remember looking across and I could see the island out there, and I was like, wow, I really want to go there. Just, what's it like over there? You know what I mean? It just really appealed to me. Never went. And over the years, people were saying about how expensive it is. It's like the most expensive strait to travel in the world, which is Isle of Wight ferry. And apparently it's because it's unrivaled. It's because there is no other operator that operates on that strait. Otherwise, is it Starline or Star something other that run it now? And they've had no competition ever. So basically they're the ones that do it, and so they charge what they can charge, and they charge a fortune to go across that water. It's only a small stretch to the Isle of Wight. But having known somebody who used to live there and was brought up on there, and spoken to me about it, it's not for everybody. It's each to their own. And it's ideal if, you know, if you've got kids. I suppose there are some things you can go and do out there. But it's not really the sort of holiday destination one would say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost like trying to tell somebody who's like a youngster, like, where would you rather go? Would you rather go to Ibiza or would you rather go to Iceland? Well, I think I'd know which one they would come out with. They'd want to go to the party time. You know what I mean? They wouldn't. But that doesn't mean to say that Iceland isn't eye-capturing and it's not worth going to. Do you know what I mean? It's each to their own, isn't it? But that's what I like. I like those random places, and I really want to also go to a place called Svalbard, because it's the most northern part of the world, and it's the most northern part that actually habitats life.
Wow.
And it doesn't, and it's only a few thousand people. It's not very many. It's a small island, and you live with wildlife, and I mean wildlife. You know, we're talking polar bears that roam around freely. You have to have firearms up there because of your safety, but you have to have rules around how you operate with them. So you have to, if you go into a shop, you have to.
Do they have a government?
I think they are part of the Norwegian government. They're a what do they call it? They're part of the Norwegian government. So they're owned by Norway, but they're on their own in that sense. They're called, the place is called Svalbard, and so basically it's very desolate out there. It's very Arctic Circle based. It's, as I say, polar bears roam around. And so they go, people like, I was watching on YouTube, you can see it on YouTube, if you put Svalbard in on YouTube, there's a couple of videos up there where people have gone up there and they've shown you about what it's like up there. And, you know, you've got people walking in a shop and they have to put their guns, they have to sign their guns into a basket, put it into a basket and sign it in, and they go around the shop and do their shopping, and they take it back out with them, and then off they go. It's dangerous not to travel with a gun around your arm.
Without
a gun. So it's like their way of life, in case you're attacked by a bear. Because the wildlife up there is so remote, and so, you know what I mean. It's so, but people live up there. A few thousand people live up there, and they live up there quite happily. They live in like your log cabins or like your Norwegian houses.
That must be nice.
It's amazing, and it's one of those sort of places that I can't imagine, but love to experience. I would love to do it, and I was looking up, and apparently you have to take a flight. So if you want to go to Svalbard, you have to go to Norway. And you have to fly to Norway, and then you go from Norway to Svalbard. You have to fly from Norway. You can't fly direct for some reason, and so it does make it a little bit awkward, but it's doable. And I thought, wow, I'd love to do that. And I don't think it's on a big plane either. I think it's on quite a smallish plane, like a private plane, because it's not the sort of holiday destination that people would tend to go to. You know what I mean? As I say, we're talking a few thousand people population. It's not big at all, this place. But it's a place that people can visit. So that's another place I want to go. So Iceland was another thing. Greenland, I'm not really sure about Greenland. I'll probably maybe one day if I'm lucky. But again, that's another island that again is quite northern, isn't it? I'd like to sort of see what Greenland's like. But it's just like whatever you're into, isn't it? I like travelling, and and I'd love to travel to like those remote places. Norwegian place, mate. Norway would be nice. Norway. that's a little bit down. But I also like weird. I say weird places, but places where like the way that the sun operates around is different to what we're used to. Do you know what I mean? Like there is a certain tip in Norway or part in Norway that never sees darkness.
Oh yes, I heard.
Do you know what I mean? Like the midnight sun, they call it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Iceland's like that certain parts of the year, and Svalbard particularly is like that a lot of the time of the year. And I find that amazing. I'd love to experience it. To be in a country where you can look up at the sky and it doesn't get dark. And when I went to Iceland, I went in March time, so it was still light at 8, 9 o'clock at night, but it did get dark. But there are times when in the year where if you go, it stays daylight all night. I think it's in the winter because it gets quite rainy and quite miserable and snowy, but bright. I think it's the winter, but this, as I say, for the midnight sun effect in Iceland, you've got to go at a certain time of the year, and I think it's normally around about, I might be wrong and correct me if I am, but I think it's around about the winter period that we would have here, like, you know, maybe, I don't know, December to sort of February coming into March time. It's where you get that. I might be wrong. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's certainly one of those places that you've got to visit if you're into those sort of places, if you're into those remote places. Have you ever thought about going?
Or to Norway?
Or Iceland?
Norway's interesting me.
I think it's the whole thing of log cabins and stuff like that. I saw somebody months ago down at Buckland Hospital who said he wanted to move out there with his family. I just never met the guy. I can't remember, we got into conversation and he was seeing to my nan at the time, and I was chatting with him, and he was saying, yeah, I was going to move to Norway with my family. My mum and dad live out there, and he said, oh, it's a great life. And he was trying to explain it. He said it's very expensive, but he said it's such a different lifestyle. And I just picture it being log cabins and fires and kind of like live on the land.
It's like a dream.
Yeah. And I just thought, wow. I mean, I like that, living in a log cabin. That kind of lifestyle would be amazing. You know, just freezing cold outside, shut your door, have a fire in the log cabin. I mean, that is your life, isn't it? You see it in films, but nowadays we're so advanced now. We've moved on so far. Gone are the days of sitting there with a candle when the lights went out, because it just, you know what I mean? We've moved on so far. You kind of miss that magic. It might not have been magic back then, but it was in a way. It had that romance. Do you know what I mean? Like Norway, living like that in places would be amazing.
I might have to look up on it.
I think you should.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I loved walking down the road in Iceland, just walking down the road. There was one time when my friend I was with at the time that was there, he was in bed this one morning, and I went for a little jolly walk into the town, and he's just looking around and just people watching and just seeing the life and being part of it was amazing. You know, and the little shops. And
didn't you get to see the Northern Lights?
We did do the tour. But unfortunately on this time we did it, it was not the right time.
Weather.
Although we had a clear night on the second day we did it, and unfortunately we didn't see anything. But yeah, unfortunately no, I haven't seen it. But the guy that was doing the tour was saying to us, if you change your settings in your phone and look through your camera, you can actually see. I thought, is it's camera trickery? Because the way he was explaining it was you change this setting in your phone, that setting in your phone, and you can watch it and you can see it. And I'm thinking, is this something the phone's doing for me, or is it actually I can see with my eyes?
Oh.
But I'm not sure. I think you can see it with your eyes, but I think it has to be of a certain, certain night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, and again, it's not just the only place you can see the Northern Lights in Iceland. You can actually see them in Norway. In fact, you're more than likely to see it in Norway, which is weird because Norway's a little bit down from Iceland. So I would have thought the higher you are to the Arctic Circle, the likelier you're going to see.
That's what I would have thought.
Yeah, but apparently not. So you've got just as much chance of seeing it in Norway as you have in Iceland. But there's been people that have gone and seen the Northern Lights. You see it on TV, don't you? And it's like, how they get that effect, I don't know, because I don't think it quite looks like that in real life. I think he did explain this. The guy that did the tour, he explained that what you know of the Northern Lights is not quite how you see it in real life, but it is not far off. So he tried to explain how the eye and the brain works and how you perceive it than it is what you see on the camera.
Yeah.
which is quite interesting. So even if they were actually, and they probably were there, it's just because it was the wrong type of night that we were there at the time, it didn't show. We thought we saw it a couple of times. Me and Ryan thought we saw it, but it could have been just a bit of light pollution, because they do what they do is they take you out in this area. They take you on a bus tour. They take you in the middle of nowhere, as far away from everything as possible, so that you can't see the lights, so that it's the lowest light pollution possible. Then you look up at the sky, so you can't see anything but the sky, and it's amazing to see, because you don't normally, in any area you live in, you don't normally just see the sky without any light, you know. So to see it in its darkest light, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so yeah, but it was an experience, and it was freezing cold. I remember standing outside. I said to him, we're standing there looking up at the sky, and I'm like, I think it was like 12, 1 o'clock at night.
Oh my God.
I'm looking up at the sky for this tour. There's a group of us, and I'm like, I'm trying to hold it together. Like, I had my big woolly jumper on, but no, it was amazing. We got back, and it wasn't disappointing. The thing is, it was an experience. But you know, it was fun because the guys made it fun. The tour guides made it really fun, and they said if you don't see it on that journey, you've got 2 years to come back free of charge. Well, it was about 2 years ago. Pardon me. It was about 2 years ago that I actually got to see it. Well, not see the Northern Lights, but went to that tour. So I'd have to repurchase it again if I wanted to do it again anyway. But neither here nor there. But we did see other things out there, and it's worth it. It's worth it. So I'd recommend, if you get the chance, mate, do it.
Norway, definitely.
Norway, definitely. I definitely want to do that. I'm not sure where in Norway I'd like to go. I mean, it would be nice to visit the capital, but I would like to maybe. Is it Oslo?
Do they still have a royal family? I think they do.
I think they do. The Norwegians do. I think they're like us, aren't they? Very similar. They've got a monarchy, haven't they? And not all countries have. I think we were one of the few, aren't we? Because I think that's how we got such a reputation across the world for the likes of the Queen. Like, for example, how much popularity she had across the world in Commonwealth, wasn't it? Because we're one of the very few countries that has a monarch. But yeah, I think you're right. I think the Norwegians do, but it's just the capital. I mean, I don't know whether it'd be. I want to be out in the sticks a little bit. Do you know what I mean? I'd like to do the whole capital thing. It's like if you come to England, you want to go to London, but actually sometimes it's nice just to go outside of London just to see what life's all about, and that's kind of where what I'd want to do in Norway. I'd want to go to the capital just to see how they live, but I'd also want to go out to the outskirts a little bit just to see how they live out there. Do you know what I mean? In the hills, and do you know what I mean? Log cabins. I wonder how much it would cost then. It might be worth having a look at.
You'll have to look into it.
Ben&Grem go Norway.
Yeah.
Do a show out there. A live show. Ben&Grem in Norway. That'd be amazing. Yeah. There you go, folks. So yeah. In the comment box. There's not been a lot coming any time recently, but if you do decide you want to take part in the conversation, have a look. Do throw a comment in. We can answer it, can't we? Well, we'll have a go. Not saying we will, but we can have a go. And you know, if there's any conversation you want to have around different places in the world that you've been to that you want to share with us, please feel free. I do like the Queen bit at the back. It does look quite good, doesn't it?
Yeah, I do. I like it. Simple, but just it sends such a clear message.
Yeah. It's amazing though when you think that's the same person though, isn't it? Well, you know, you've got the Queen over here, the Queen over there. It's the same person but 2 different eras. Yeah.
Young, and then you've got old, but then look at the confidence in the older version. The confidence in the eyes.
Firm.
Yeah.
What about the younger version?
Well, what comes to my mind is scared. You know.
Focused, nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see that, can't you? She had nerves. She was like a bag of nerves. Well, that makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, it's a big job, isn't it?
Certainly is.
So anyway, folks, what are you drinking tonight on this wonderful Sunday evening? Would be Monday morning work, but obviously not for you guys. having a few drinks, have a drink. If you're not drinking right now, have a drink. Have a little tipple, because after all, it's an important time. It's the Ben and Grem Show talks the Queen. We are not going to have a conversation like this again, Ben.
Well, we might try it again.
Really?
Different formats.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah. Or we could even talk about how the Queen is not really apart from us. If you get my drift. You know, like they talked about Michael Jackson, didn't they?
Yeah.
Has he really gone? Is he still really here? You know, all that sort of thing. You get that. I bet you'll have that. In a few months' time, you'll get that with people. You'll see it on social media. Did the Queen
Actually
really
die?
You know, and then they'll come out with these really raging, odd theories.
Yeah, weirdos.
I mean, it's going to happen, you know it will. Oh, did she really? I mean, the thing is, it happened very quickly. And then it makes you start to think. Then you think, oh, come off it. You know what I mean? Mad, isn't it?
Luckily, her daughter Anne was at Balmoral at the time.
Yeah, she was.
When her health was worsening.
Yeah. What about Philip?
Philip passed away last year, didn't he?
He did. Well, at least she's now with Philip.
Yeah, so...
That's nice. She's holding his hand as we speak.
Yeah.
And he's saying, oh, didn't hang around. And she's saying something like,
I didn't want to go yet.
I didn't want to go, really. And then he gets the because he thought, oh, right then. No, probably not. It's not like that, is it? I wonder what it's like, really. I wonder what it is like.
I have no idea.
I wonder if they're bonking.
Ben, guys.
It's been a while. Oh, no, that's not. That was I'm sorry. Yeah, there was no need for that. What's that?
I'm feeling quite tired.
Yeah, well, we have been on the road for a while this evening on the Ben and Grem Show screen. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in to this wonderful show.
Well, we don't have to go yet.
Well, we don't, but we can if you like. But you don't want to, do you?
We can give it a 5-minute rundown or something. Just because I said I'm tired, all of a sudden
see you later, folks.
Yeah, we're closing down the show.
Yeah, no, we don't do that usually, do we? But no, I mean, you know, it has been nice. It has been a long time coming. Shame about the circumstances with the Queen, obviously, devastating as it is. But you know, it has been nice to mark this event with the Ben and Grem Show. So yes. Thank you, Queen Elizabeth, for giving us this opportunity. Not quite the best circumstance, of course, but nonetheless, you've brought us back to life. So you can be thankful for that.
Yeah, thank you so much for your service to the country and to your people.
Yes, and you will never be forgotten. Always be remembered.
There's never going to be another Queen Elizabeth II.
No, but there might be a Queen Elizabeth III though. Maybe the 4th, but it won't be for a while.
Oh no, that's only if it's Harry's child, which is called Lilibet.
There ain't gonna happen. No, we'll leave it there then.
Yeah.
Let's leave it there.
Come on.
Lilibet. Is that what they want to call it?
It's the Queen's nickname as a little girl.
Of course it was. Yes. Well, no, we don't. We don't want to go there. But what we can say is we want to say again, thank the Queen for her story, because that's what's led us to revitalising the Ben and Grem Show. And thank you to Liz Truss as well for changing the face of politics for this modern era that we're now living in.
Let's hope that it goes well for her.
Indeed, hope it does. And thank everybody who's up this evening watching Facebook and the Ben and Grem Show. The page still does exist. It has been quiet, but it's been nice to get some traffic through it.
Yes, it is, yeah.
So long live the Ben and Grem Show, and there will be more to come. Sock Radio, which is something that's taken a bit of a back seat. It's still going, mind. We haven't done too many new shows on there recently, but there is some developments coming ahead, which I hope will which will transform soon enough. But again, that's in the pipeline, so do stay tuned for that. And more will be on that later. But on the other hand, Ben and Grem Show, we hope to see you all again soon. How soon?
Well, very soon. It's not going to be like 5 months.
No, it'd be nice to think we could do another show soon, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, because there is other things going on in the world as well, serious things, and
Maybe in a few weeks.
maybe in a few weeks. Actually, yeah. What we'll do is we'll come back in a few weeks when we're going. We'll come back in a few weeks and we'll go over a few things, and we will catch up on the news and current affairs. And we shall also maybe. What else should we do? Have a drink.
Oh yes.
Have a drink.
We'll have rum next time.
Yeah, we'll have a bit of rum next time. And do feel free to have a drink with us, because sometimes it's nice to share the vibe, isn't it? You know, there's no point in us sitting here drinking, enjoying ourselves when you're sitting at home drinking tea. You know, if you're going to be sitting at home drinking tea, fine, that's your decision. But if you're going to be watching the Ben&Grem Show, you may as well get in the vibe. If we're drinking tea, then maybe just drink tea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, but if we're drinking alcoholic, then I think you should also then do so, because it kind of makes us all on the same level, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's best to be on the same level and not at all.
Yeah. We had a bit of pointless news tonight, didn't we? Did we? Yeah,
Yes, we did,
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. Ah, I missed that pointless news. I don't know what happened, but did you notice I did the sound effect?
Yeah.
I don't know what's happened.
Pointless news.
I've lost it. I don't know where the sound effect went. I don't know what's happened. We haven't done a show for so long. I've lost the file, but that's fine, because we what's the word when you into what do you call it?
Improvise.
Improvised. We improvised. Sometimes you just have to do it. You realise something's not working, so you just do it. But hopefully we'll get that sorted out. There's a couple other things tonight that maybe could have gone a bit better, but that's no fault of mine or Graham's. It's obviously where we haven't done a show for so long, a bit rusty. But it's been nice to do it again. There's a couple of things that I need to look into doing in the meantime.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it is good to be back.
It is.
So from this man Grem,
Yes, goodbye from me.
and goodbye from him,
And goodbye from him
and Grem.
and Ben.
Thank you very much. Thank you for watching the Ben&Grem Show. You've been watching us. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having this conversation with us, or listening to us.
Thank you for joining us. It's been appreciated.
See you again soon. Good night.
Good night, everybody.